Today is Thursday, October 9th. We'll tell you about a ceasefire and hostage release deal between Israel and Hamas that's being called Phase 1 of President Trump's plan. What's included, what's still unclear, and what's expected next. Also, President Trump is calling for 2 Democrats to be jailed. And months after that deadly fire in the LA area, there's been an arrest. Plus, the excitement and uproar since OpenAI's latest app launched. Vending machines are coming for prescription medications. And another week, another Taylor Swift record. Those stories and even more news to know next. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. A major development in the Middle East. Israel and Hamas have agreed to what's being called the first phase of President Trump's plan. Hamas said it'll release the hostages that are still alive in exchange for Palestinian prisoners. President Trump also said Israel would pull back its troops to an agreed-upon line. Both Qatar, which has helped negotiate this deal, and Hamas have said the agreement also means aid will be allowed into Gaza. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he would convene the Israeli government today to approve the deal. And the Washington Post cites a source who says once that happens, Israel has 24 hours to start a partial withdrawal of troops, and then Hamas has 72 hours to release hostages. In a live interview with Fox News last night, President Trump called the deal peace in the Middle East, though some specifics still are not clear yet, including where the line is for Israel's withdrawal, other details of the hostages for prisoners exchange, and whether Hamas will ultimately disarm. But the next step could happen in a matter of days. President Trump said hostages will be released probably Monday. Israel believes there are about 20 hostages still alive in Gaza and is seeking the remains of about 25 others. Family members of hostages celebrated and thanked Trump. And Palestinians in Gaza are said to be feeling hopeful the war will finally end. So, to be continued. Former FBI Director James Comey pleaded not guilty during his first court appearance in the criminal case against him. Comey is charged with making a false statement and obstructing a congressional proceeding. The case comes after President Trump has publicly demanded Comey face charges and replace the U.S. attorney overseeing the investigation with his own choice. The case is being watched as a flashpoint over whether President Trump is seeking justice or revenge. Comey's attorney called the case a selective and vindictive prosecution rooted in Trump's personal grudge against his client. But Justice Department leaders have insisted the case has not been impacted by politics, and they point to a grand jury's approval of the charges. Prosecutors said they're still reviewing a large amount of evidence, some of it classified. The judge set a trial date of January 5th. President Trump wrote on Truth Social yesterday that he believes the Illinois governor and Chicago mayor, both Democrats, should be put in jail for, quote, failing to protect ICE officers. Remember, both officials are against Trump's deployment of National Guard troops for a crime and immigration crackdown, saying the federal response is not needed in Chicago. And to be clear, neither man has been charged with a crime. And they responded that they will not be deterred, with the governor posting that Trump calling for the arrest of elected representatives who are checking his power is on the path to full-blown authoritarianism. Either way, the deployment of troops to the Chicago area is still underway. Reports say about 500 National Guard members, some from Texas and others from Illinois, are now on the ground on the president's order, tasked with protecting ICE facilities and agents. A federal judge is expected to rule on the legality of this deployment during a court hearing set for today. Authorities now say one of the worst fires the Los Angeles area has ever seen was caused by arson, and that they've arrested the man accused of starting it and trying to cover his tracks. The Palisades fire killed 12 people and destroyed thousands of homes earlier this year. Federal investigators now believe a 29-year-old maliciously set a small fire along a hiking trail on New Year's Day, and while he called 911 to report the fire later and it was initially thought to be put out, it ultimately rekindled days later and exploded into the massive blaze that swept through Pacific Palisades and Malibu in Southern California. Just before the suspect allegedly set the fire, prosecutors say he was working as an Uber driver, and the passengers he had just dropped off told investigators he seemed agitated and angry. An array of digital evidence also ties him to the scene, including a ChatGPT search asking whether he'd be at fault if a fire is lit because of your cigarettes, and another ChatGPT request that generated an image of a burning city with people trying to flee. Authorities say the suspect lived in the area at the time, but moved to Florida after the fire and made false statements to investigators. The acting U.S. attorney in L.A. said one person's recklessness caused devastation, and he hopes this arrest brings some measure of justice to those impacted. No comment from the suspect at this point. He's set to be back in court today. All right, we have much more news for you still coming up. But first, let's take a quick break to talk about our sponsor. I'm always looking for simple, science-backed ways to take care of my health as I get older. And one product that's really stood out is Fatty 15. It's the first essential fatty acid discovered in more than 90 years, called C15, and it's been described as a breakthrough in longevity and cellular health. Fatty 15's co-founder, Dr. Stephanie Van Watson, discovered its benefits while working with the U.S. Navy to improve the health of aging dolphins, and the results apparently translated to humans too. Basically, C15 strengthens our cells from the inside out, and when our cells stay strong, we age slower and feel better. It's also a clean, vegan, science-backed alternative to fish oil with no strange aftertaste, which is one of the things I appreciate most about Fatty 15. Many customers report better sleep, smoother joints, healthier liver and heart function, and more energy in as little as 16 weeks. It even comes in a beautiful, reusable glass jar, and refills arrive right to your door. Fatty 15 is on a mission to optimize your C15 levels to help you live healthier longer. You can get an additional 15% off their 90-day subscription starter kit by going to fatty15.com/newsworthy and using the code newsworthy at checkout. Now back to the news. The next frontier of online video is here, and it's creating controversy. OpenAI's new Sora 2 is the basis for a new app simply called Sora, which lets users create realistic AI-generated videos in seconds. It launched last week and has surged to the top of the App Store, even surpassing ChatGPT's first week in downloads. The app gives users the power to place themselves, friends, or celebrities into mini movies that look almost real. It's essentially a version of TikTok with nothing but AI-generated content. But that power is coming with problems, too. Within hours of launch, users had created fake clips of real people, from historical figures and dead celebrities to politically charged deepfakes, prompting backlash from Hollywood, family members of stars like Robin Williams and George Carlin, and even lawmakers. The Motion Picture Association is demanding OpenAI stop the flood of videos featuring copyrighted characters from movies and TV shows. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman has since promised tighter safeguards, including requiring copyright owners to opt in before their creations appear in Sora videos, but admits some edge cases will still slip through. And the controversy goes beyond copyright. Experts warn that Sora could supercharge scams and disinformation as it becomes easier to fake realistic footage for fraud or political manipulation. For now, Sora 2 is still invite-only, available to a limited number of users in the US and Canada, but OpenAI says it plans to expand access soon. SpaceX's Starlink just got new competition in the race to connect your phone to space. Verizon announced a new deal with AST Space Mobile to provide space-based cellular coverage, aimed at bringing coverage to areas on Earth where towers can't reach. The plan is to start offering service next year, using AST's satellites to connect regular smartphones, no special hardware required. It's one of the first networks of its kind, but not the only one, as SpaceX and T-Mobile are also developing direct-to-phone service. AST says it's already tested calls and video chats using satellites in space successfully and will now integrate its system into Verizon's existing network. The deal comes as competition heats up in the emerging space-to-cell market, companies racing to cover the gaps in global connectivity and to claim a piece of what could become a multi-billion-dollar industry. Would you get your prescriptions from a vending machine? Amazon is making it possible as it moves deeper into healthcare, launching prescription vending kiosks. The new machines will be at select One Medical primary care clinics in the Los Angeles area and operated by Amazon Pharmacy. Amazon says they'll dispense commonly prescribed drugs like antibiotics, inhalers, and blood pressure medications within minutes of a doctor's visit. So here's how it works. First, a patient's provider must send a prescription to Amazon Pharmacy, where a pharmacist will verify it. Users can then complete their order in the Amazon app and scan a QR code at the kiosk. A remote pharmacist completes a final check and can also be reached by video or phone. Amazon says the goal is to remove barriers that keep patients from filling prescriptions right away by bringing the pharmacy directly to the point of care. The move comes as major chains like Rite Aid, CVS, and Walgreens struggle with store closures and shrinking drug profits. Amazon plans to expand the kiosks beyond California, saying there's real potential to bring the technology anywhere quick access to medication makes a difference. Cristiano Ronaldo has just made sports history, becoming the first soccer player to become a billionaire. The 40-year-old Portuguese star is now worth an estimated $1.4 billion, according to Bloomberg's Billionaires Index. His record-breaking fortune is fueled by his massive contract with Saudi club Al Nassr FC, worth more than $400 million, and with no taxes on his Saudi earnings. Ronaldo's wealth also comes from decades of global success, with endorsement deals from Nike, Armani, and more, and his own CR7 brand of underwear, shoes, and fragrances. He's also the most followed person on Instagram, with more than 665 million followers, making him one of the most influential athletes on the planet. Ronaldo now out-earns rival Lionel Messi, who makes about $135 million a year playing for Inter Miami. Not bad for a kid who dropped out of school in Portugal at 14 years old to chase a soccer dream that's now made him a billionaire. Taylor Swift just shattered another record, this time for the biggest first week of any album ever. Her new release, The Life of a Showgirl, has surpassed 3.5 million album units in its first 5 days, representing the numbers across sales and streaming. And it officially outpaces Adele's 25, which held the first week record for nearly a decade. And really, Swift is likely to break Adele's record for pure sales by the end of the week. Swift has kept the momentum going with limited edition digital and CD versions featuring bonus tracks. And just days after her album topped the music charts, her concert film in movie theaters, The Official Release Party of a Showgirl, also debuted at #1 at the box office. That's it for the main news today, so now it's time for Thing to Know Thursday. But first, this episode is sponsored by Quince. When the weather cools down, I start thinking about the clothes in my closet that feel cozy and polished. And that's why I love Quince. From their $50 Mongolian cashmere sweaters to their washable silk tops and perfectly tailored coats, I love the options and the prices. I still wear my wool sweater and washable silk tank from last year, and right now I'm eyeing some of their jeans for fall. They've got that clean, classic look that goes with everything. And their wool coats for winter, I'm looking at those as well. They look designer level, but cost a fraction of the price. So how do they do it? Quince works directly with top-tier ethical factories and cuts out the middlemen, so you get luxury quality at half the price of similar brands. And it's not just clothing. Their bedding, home goods, and luggage are all top-notch. In fact, I just used my Quince carry-on over the weekend, and I was loving the smooth wheels, convenient compression straps, and stylish look. Quince is truly a one-stop shop for quality essentials. So keep it classic and cozy this fall with long-lasting staples from Quince. Go to quince.com/newsworthy for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/newsworthy. Now back to Thing to Know Thursday. If you've been wondering why Gen Z keeps saying things like 6'7" or mogging, you're not alone. And apparently, that's kind of the point. A new analysis from unscrambler.com looked at Google searches for modern slang and found that much of Gen Z's language is designed to confuse anyone over 25 years old. 6'7" actually has no real meaning and comes from a viral rap lyric as well as a basketball player in a viral video about being 6 feet 7 inches tall. There's also Ohio, used to describe something strange or cringy. Others include mogging, meaning outshining someone, huzz for an attractive person, glaze, which means giving fake flattery, and clanker, that's Gen Z's word for an AI bot. Linguists say while the word's meanings may be new, slang, of course, is not. It's always been a way for younger generations to set themselves apart. As one expert put it, the whole point is that it's not meant for you. Thank you so much for listening today. You can further support our work here and get access to ad-free episodes by becoming a Newsworthy Insider. You can start your free trial at thenewsworthy.com/insider. And Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to episodes of The Newsworthy ad-free in the Wondery app. We'll catch you up on more news to know tomorrow. Until then, have a great day.